4 parts is not bad for all that went on in this season. Okay, so I'm gonna give myself props for that. Let me know in the comments if there are any other shows that you'd like to see me review. Yeah, definitely open to anything similar to this, or you know, I don't know, any show is fine by me. Let me know in the comments and I will take it into consideration. One more thing before we jump into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. And if you are interested in more content from me or just early access to my regular videos, please consider joining my memberships linked in the description box. I would love to see you there. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Alright, so where we left off with episode 10, everybody went to a dinner party. It was like a 20s themed dinner party. Nick met Katie for the first time, who he used to talk to in the pods, and Hannah went and introduced them to each other, and we find out that Garrett got a DM from an ex, and he kind of entertained it a little bit, but not really, because he basically told the girl, like, you know, this is an inappropriate conversation, we shouldn't be talking anymore. But he omitted some information when he told Taylor about it, so Taylor's super upset and kind of second guessing whether or not he should really meet her parents. So that's where we're at right now, and we're gonna jump into episode 11. I've got my handy dandy notebook here. We're jumping in, and we open up the episode at Hannah and Nick's house, and Hannah wants to know what Nick and Katie were talking about. She says that she turned him from a boy into a man, and she wants to know what they were talking about during their 40-minute long conversation. Okay, she says that she's been so stressed and she's taking everything so seriously, and she hasn't had a chance to show her fun side. She's really hurt about the situation with Katie, because Katie was saying that she thought that Nick was cute. Hannah definitely dragged it and was saying that, you know, Katie said that he was all hot and sexy and all kinds of this stuff, but I don't think she said that, and she was acting like she was saying it a million times, but I don't think it was that deep. I think maybe she just commented on it like twice, you know, from what we saw. Again, things happen off camera, so we don't know for sure, but that's what it seems like to us for now. And I'm just wondering, like, is this about him or is this about Katie? Like, what is she really upset about? And I said he is very flirty, though. Like, he definitely should not have been talking to Katie the way that he was. And it seems like she's just ready to drop it and go to bed, but he's, like, kind of gaslighting her by being like, you know, like, is it that you don't trust me? And she kind of gives in and says, like, no, it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust Katie. And he's like, okay, so you don't trust me, like, bit. Okay, like, what is this intimidating tone? Like, you know what you did, you know you were flirting. Just because she doesn't know that and she can't prove it doesn't mean you weren't wrong. But anyway, we got over to Garrett and Taylor, and it seems like Taylor kind of came to her senses. She had a little bit of a change of heart, and they are in San Diego going to meet her family and her friends and stuff. Yeah, it seems like they're working through it. Her family doesn't really want to be on camera, so they met their family off camera. And then we cut over to Ashley and Tyler. Ashley says that the shock of finding out that he had children kind of wore off for her, and she wants him no matter what, which is awesome. I love that for them. You know, it just seemed like he tried to do a good thing for a friend, and yes, he should have mentioned it sooner, but, you know, at least it came up before they got married, and I'm glad that she was, like, understanding of him and was willing to hear him out, because it, to me, doesn't seem like it's something that's worth, like, tearing the relationship apart for. Okay, so then we're cutting over to Marissa and Ramses, and they are filling out marriage documents. We're cutting back to Nick and Hannah, and they're back to talking about Katie. He doesn't think that he was flirting, but in the same moment, they're also going to meet Hannah's friends. So when they meet Hannah's friends, she says that she doesn't think she's trying to change him, but then she brings up the whole duck situation again, and he mentioned that he feels like she has a lot of reservations about him, but he's willing to work at it. Then her friends all start ganging up on him. Basically saying that he needs to be the man that she deserves. So just like further proving the point that yes, she is trying to change him. It's like, if somebody is not the man that you deserve, nothing that you do is going to make him into that man. You know, like, if he's not that man, he's not that man. So it just seems silly for them to be ganging up on him for not being the man that she wants, when she needs to make the decision that this is not the man that she wants. You know what I mean? Like, he is trying, or so it seems, you know. And all she's doing is berating him and like making him feel like less of a man because he's not up to her standard. But you're choosing to still be with him even though he's not up to your standard. So anyway, I didn't appreciate that her friends ganged up on him like that, and that she pretty much co-signed the whole thing. Like, she was on board ganging up on him too. I even wrote, why doesn't she try to be the wife that he deserves? Listen, I'm all for women supporting women, but at the end of the day, please be fair. Like, you just need to be fair. I'm all about a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, okay? But if that's the case, don't drag a man along with you. A man that you know is not ready. Don't do that. Anyway, so then we go on to, we're meeting Taylor's mom, and I just love her. She's so cute, and she seems really supportive, and she got Taylor's dad on board too, which we know is really important to Taylor, so I love that for them. Hannah is talking to her mom. She says that Nick doesn't match her, and her friends don't like him. She says that she doesn't want to teach someone how to love. And she's saying all this to her mom. And then we go on to, we're trying on wedding dresses. But Hannah didn't show up to try on wedding dresses. And to that I wrote good, because they should not be getting married at this point. Ashley is so ready to get married and try on dresses. I love that. Marissa's mom is kind of warming up to Ramsey's a little bit. You know, now that she's seeing her daughter trying on the wedding dresses and stuff, she's getting all happy and warm inside. But not really, she's still ruthless. Then we get to Hannah and Nick. She's like constantly pushing and interrogating him, but she doesn't seem to want to take any accountability for herself. She's saying that he hasn't changed or tried for her, and he says that she is throwing shade for no reason. She says that they're not equals, and then she asks him, like, what are your responsibilities? Again, belittling him for no reason. Now she says that she feels manipulated, and he's putting on a show for his friends and family. Because remember, in the last episode, his parents were saying, like, oh, they never heard him say that he wanted to learn or grow for anyone. And she thinks that he's just like putting on a show to make it look good. But like, why would you do that to your family members? I don't know. There's no reason for her to think that, I feel. Yeah, and I just wrote that they're both Delulu. At this point, that's how I feel. Then we cut to Marissa. She says that she's willing to be unhappy for 5 to 7 years before they get divorced, which is absolutely wild. Like, what the heck are you talking about? That's a long time to be unhappy. A long time, dude. But, okay, the fact that she's thinking about this already is also kind of, like, unnerving to me. Like, why? That should be, like, the furthest thing from your mind right now. But, okay, let's see. She says she doesn't want to be like her family. She wants Ramsey's to want to give her mom a gift for their wedding or something. And he's just saying that they just have different priorities right now. So basically she was just kind of being like, you know, like, why aren't you more into the wedding he's just like, that's not what's on my mind right now. So again, they're just having like weird, I'm not gonna say miscommunications, but just like differences in values that keep coming up and kind of seem like they might be a big deal at some point in their future. So, you know, maybe they should stop brushing it off and like actually talk deeply about it. But what do I know? Then we move over to Ashley and Tyler, and they're going skydiving like they planned in the pods. They had said, or Ashley had said, that she really wanted to go skydiving with whoever her husband was going to be before her wedding. That's something that she always thought about, and even though Tyler is afraid of heights, he agreed to do it with her. Okay, sorry if I'm like, if the frame looks different, I had to get up for a second. But anyway, so Ashley and Tyler go and jump out of the plane. He's jumping into life with Ashley. I love that for them. She makes a funny little comment. They were talking about childbirth, and she said that all he has to do is donate, which was a poor choice of words considering the argument they just had. But anyway, they look really happy, and I'm happy for them. And then we cut to Garrett and Taylor, and they're also looking great and happy. And then we cut over to Marissa and Ramses, and they are not looking great. Once again, something's up. He had a conversation with somebody, and he's feeling a little bit nervous, and, you know, whatever the person said who he spoke to kind of influenced his decision in their marriage. And so Marissa basically says, you know, this is the risk that you take when you're falling in love, you know, because he was feeling unsure or whatever, and you know, he doesn't want to have another marriage that ends in divorce. And yeah, so that's just, he has some concerns, and she said, you know, this is the risk you take. And that was the end of episode 11. So now moving on to episode 12, we find out that he had spoke to some family members about how his ex-wife handled their divorce in the aftermath, and I guess he just realized that it was much worse for her than what he had originally thought, and he doesn't want to do that to someone else. He's saying that love is not always enough, which I can agree with. You know, sometimes love is not enough. And he says that he's not really into like their day-to-day interaction. He feels like their vibes are off. I don't think that she's really understanding where he's coming from, or she's just willing to try at it, and he is feeling like, you know, no matter how hard they try, it's not gonna like make him feel any more secure in the decision to get married. I don't feel like he was kind of like saying there was no hope in the relationship at all. He was just saying like it's a lot to rush into, which I can understand as well. So yeah, I don't know if she gets him, or if she just like doesn't want to hear what he's saying. Like maybe she's in denial a little bit. I don't know. But he says that their energies just really differ, and you know, he doesn't think that he can keep up with her every day. And she says that guys always end up loving her energy in the beginning, and you know, after a couple of months the novelty kind of wears off, so you know, they just kind of get tired of her, which I mean, I feel terrible for this poor girl. She says that she can see their energies coexisting, and he just doesn't want to assume that something will work in the future. And she says, I just want to be with someone. No, she says, I just want someone to be sure about me. And girl, same, don't we all? If only it was that easy. Yeah, so they end up breaking it off, I think, and I'm just wondering, like, why do they need to get married right now? Like, why can't they just like work on their relationship and see how things go and see like if their energies end up vibing eventually down the road? Like, and that's what bothers me kind of about this show, is that everybody like feels the need to like rush into this marriage that they agreed to, but like sometimes you just need to work on your relationship a little bit more before you rush into the marriage. But I understand it's like a commitment, and I mean, whatever, I get it from both sides, I guess. I just think that it's okay to like put a pause on your commitment. Like, just because you're on a show doesn't mean you need to do it in their timeline. But anyway, so she's wondering if if she made everything up in her head, you know, like the reciprocation of love between them, and she's like crazy sobbing and struggling, and yeah, it's over for them. So now we're down to 2 couples, and they are going to their bachelor and bachelorette parties. It's very cute. Taylor's talking about learning to give grace, because that's something that she and Ashley, being strong, independent women, did not always do in their past relationships. And I can appreciate that because I am still currently learning how to give grace in my relationship and vice versa, I think. And then it's a wedding day, yay, and we're gonna see Tyler and Ashley first. She says that she feels protected emotionally and that he allows her to be powerful, which is a beautiful thing. Why does her friend look so mad? Like when her friend just has a mean mug the whole time, like she's not into it. She's like, the whole time, like, maybe you shouldn't have invited her. But anyway, Tyler, he's got a little bit of nerves going on. He's talking to his mom and he's crying, and it's just so many emotions, but there's no way they're not getting married. They got this in the bag. And then before Ashley walks down the aisle, there's like these interpretive dancers. It's very cute, very vibesy. And then let's see. Ashley has a conversation with her dad in the back before walking down the aisle, and he kind of tells her that he regrets running when it got bad, and you know, just told her to stay strong and that she has a good partner. And then yeah, she walks down the aisle, and Tyler is not crying as much as I expected him to, but that's good for him. Good for him for being together. They both say beautiful vows to each other, and I just love them so much. I'm so happy for them. And then we cut over to Taylor and Garrett, and they're definitely a sure thing too. I don't have any doubts about them. Garrett is just telling his friends and family that he wants to do her the service of like fully thinking things through. So not that he's second guessing before the wedding, but he's just like making extra sure that this is what he feels, and you know, that he's definitely ready to say yes. For some reason, her parents and his parents both got married on the 13th, and then they're also getting married on the 13th. What is that about? What's her name? Taylor's dad says a whole bunch of stuff to Garrett. They have like a whole bonding moment before the wedding, and I'm really glad that he approves of Garrett. Everything seems to be going really well. I absolutely hated Taylor's dress. I'm so sorry. Fight me in the comments if you want. I said what I said. Why did she bring it? She pulled out a whole binder to read her vows, which was crazy, but also very on brand. Yeah, it was overall very cute, a ceremony. But at this point, I'm ready for the reunion and for the tea. So let's get into it. Next episode is the reunion, and I'm a little bit disappointed with the tea. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was just a little bit uneventful. So everybody's walking in. Alex walks in and she's looking fantastic, fabulous, honey, like, girl. And Tim walks in behind her and he just looks mad as hell. And I'm not gonna say that it's because she looks fantastic that he looks mad, but he looks mad, bro. Hannah looks fantastic also. Like, I don't know what she did, but she had a full-blown glow up in this past year. I can't wait to hear what comes out of Steven's mouth. Like, what explanation do you have for this? Ramsey just looks really sad and tired. So I forget Nick Lachey's wife's name. Anyway, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But they go ahead and talk to Taylor and Garrett first, and everything's going really well for them. Taylor's wearing like this suit of armor, aluminum foil top, corset top thing. I don't know what's going on with it. And Garrett has had like a full-blown glow up. Like, what was that comment that Steven said that he looked like? He said he looks like some middle-class version of some actor, but not anymore, Steven. Don't come for my boy Garrett, okay? Now, after they talk to Taylor and Garrett and everything's going really well with them, we cut over to Tyler and Ashley, and immediately they're asking Tyler about his situation with these kids, and honestly, he doesn't need to explain himself to us. Like, he doesn't need to explain himself to the internet. I have managed to watch this entire show without hearing any discourse else's influence other than mine, and like my mom watched a few episodes with me, so that's really it. What was my point in saying that? Yeah, my point is that I don't know what people were saying about them on the internet, or like what kind of, I know how the internet is, okay? I know that people were digging deep, and they said something about people were finding birth certificates and all this stuff. I respect that Tyler didn't want his friend and her family to be involved in his decision to be on this TV show. He didn't want to divulge a lot of information, and that's okay. That's his prerogative. Like he said at the reunion, he shared everything that he needed to share with his wife, and if she's okay with it, then everybody else should be okay with it as well. Yeah, and don't tell Ashley what to do. She's very, very happy in her relationship. Let her live. Let her thrive. Okay, let them both thrive. So Ashley is just mad as hell at the internet. She's over y'all. And she just says like he didn't want to share for the cameras, but he shared everything that he needed to share with her. And then the hosts go on to confirm that there's a couple of things that we didn't get to see on camera. And then they go, hey, Steven. Because we already know, like, we can't wait to get to Steven. What's going on with Steven and his sleep test, yeah, so I just appreciate that Ashley is so understanding of him and, like, his past, and, you know, even if it was a situation that he didn't handle in the ideal way, she understands, like, where he was coming from and why he made the decisions that he made, however wrong everyone else wants to think they are. She's standing by him, and that's what matters. She says it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of love, and he says that he's experiencing unconditional love for the first time. Also, let's just side note to the fact that AD from last season is one of the guests on the reunion show, and she is sitting very closely to Marshall with his light little eyes. They're sitting very close on the couch together. I just want to point that out because I noticed it at this point. And then they did end up talking to her, and she says she is dating someone, but she's keeping it private for now. But I think it's him, because why are they sitting so closely together on that couch? I don't know. They seem a little buddy-buddy to me. But then later on in the reunion show, he says that he's single, so I don't know. But anyway, Marissa and Ramsey, we're talking to them now. Marissa's mom is salty as heck in the audience, okay? They both talk about how difficult it was for them to watch the aftermath of the breakup, and even just the breakup itself. Obviously it was really hard on Marissa, but Ramsey points out that it was really difficult for him too. He says he wasn't feeling the same balance in their energies as he did when they were in the pods. He says that he would have been exhausted and overwhelmed in a day-to-day, coexisting with her, which is really freaking harsh. I don't know why he had to say it like that. Mom says that she wanted to punch him in the throat, but he did the right thing. She also said that he shouldn't have kept reassuring her after all, before the wedding, if he wasn't feeling sure. She says, you broke her, and he says that he regrets not bringing it up sooner, and yeah, that it was tough on him too. And I feel like we need to go easy on Ramses and his bronzer. He did the right thing. Like she said, it was poor timing, but at least he didn't wait until he got to the altar, or go through with it and then get a divorce, he did what he needed to do in the time that he needed to do it, or at his own pace, I should say, which is unfortunate, but that's just, like Marissa said, that's the risk you take when you fall in love, right? So then Nick Lachey tells Marissa that she did nothing wrong and she's a beautiful soul, which we all know already. And then Ramses brings up the whole conversation about the contraceptives and not wanting to use a condom, and he just wants everyone to know that he wasn't just being a whiny baby, and they came to a solution that worked for both of them, and he knows how hard it is for women with birth control and blah blah blah. So he just wanted to clear his name, I guess. Wonderful. Then we move on to Zach and Bliss and their baby. Zach and Bliss are a couple from a previous season, which I'm really I can't even believe they've made it this far, because their situation was hot drama. And then we're moving on to Hannah and Nick. So we're talking to them now. she wishes at this point, just watching everything back, that she would have just wrote the ducks. And Hannah was like, no, absolutely not, I don't. And then she asks her if she felt like she was a little bit too direct. And Hannah says that she stands by everything she said, but her delivery could have been better. And Nick says they expected nothing less from her. That's exactly the answer that he expected. Garrett pops in to say that Nick showed a lot of patience with her, and it was a lot more patience than he probably would have showed in that situation. Hannah thinks that she's self-aware. She's like, yeah, I guess he was patient, I guess, because I'm very direct, and I guess I could be a bee sometimes, but like, I'm just really direct, and I was just being honest, and yeah, I guess he was patient, whatever. Like, not taking accountability, but you're saying that you're self-aware. And then Nick Lachey's wife asks Hannah if she has anything to say to Nick, and she says again that no, she's just very direct, and yeah, she can be a bee sometimes. AD chimes in to say that Hannah is who she is, and she's standing on that, and good for her. And then Hannah goes and apologizes to Nick because she knows that's what everybody's expecting. Nick goes on to say that she is fantastic and that she's getting too much hate, and then she jumps in to say, so why are you liking people's comments and whatever on social media that are negative about her, right? So here he is trying to pay her a compliment, and she is jumping down his throat again. But I mean, if this is the time and place, then go on. Go off, girl. Go off. Then she goes on to say that her friends convinced her when she was packing up her stuff to go through his stuff. So yeah, really stand up friends that you have there. And she found a list where he stated that he wanted to be the most famous person on this season of Love is Blind. So now she's trying to paint a picture of him like in a negative light, kind of saying that he intentionally like painted a picture of himself to make him look better, but then off camera he talked badly about Hannah and was like just as terrible to her as she was to him on camera, which, like, neither one of you look good at this point, so like maybe we should just not. But then Marissa comes in and she's co-signing, and then I feel like he just wrote a thoughtless thing in a list that, so the thing is that the list that he wrote was from like 2 weeks before he actually was on the show. So he says, and it was like a 90-day goal type thing that he and his friend did. So he said that he wasn't really committed to it. He was just writing things down just to like appease his friend kind of thing. So again, I just think it was a thoughtless thing that he wrote. He just was like making up. The other thing was like, you know, to sell 2 houses and to like stay in shape, you know, and like be the most famous person on Love is Blind. Like, it was just like a thoughtless thing, and she's just trying to turn it into like a much bigger thing. I think that she got so much hate on the internet that she is now trying to like get her revenge on him kind of thing, because whatever, I guess the show like painted him out to be not such a bad guy, and she wants everyone to know that he is in fact a bad guy, and they're both bad guys, but like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so they're bringing up how he was saying rude things about her off camera, and everyone's kind of quiet at first. She even said at one point, she's like, why is he so nice to me? Because I'm mean to him. And then, you know, after reading that note, she said everything clicked, and, you know, he was just doing it to make himself look good. Kind of letting her step all over him so that he could look better for the cameras. She says that he's DMing girls, and the girls are screenshotting them and sending them to her so he can see all his conversations and stuff like that, which is scandalous. Like, why are people like this on the internet? And now the girls chime in to call him out, and Monica says that Steven was the one that told her that Nick called Hannah a grenade. And Steven's kind of quiet at first. Garrett chimes in to say that they're just being really immature, and I have to agree with him. Like, it's all like this silly little he said, she said. And Marissa says that Hannah has a lot of room to grow, but it's not all on her. And then she calls Ramsey's apparently told her about things that Nick had said about Hannah also. So at this point, Steven confirms, yes, he did say something about her being a grenade or something to that effect. And then Ramsey's just tells Nick to take accountability. And Nick says that he was just underwhelmed with seeing Hannah the first time, and that's what he had said in the beginning. And then he's like, well, if she was so hurt by everything, then why did she still hit me up after the show? And then, like, you know, like, they hung out after the show, and Marissa's like, well, because she was vulnerable, and she's in her emotions and her feelings, and she's like, I hung out with Ramsey too, like, she hooked up with Ramsey's too. And you see her mom in the audience, like, I didn't know that. So yeah, lots of tea being spilled right now. And then we have this flashback to him gaslighting Hannah about his conversation with Kate. And so then we go talk to Kate about it. And Kate is hurt that Hannah said she didn't trust her. Because she felt like they were just really good friends. And even over this past year that they haven't been filming, they've been really good friends. Hannah says that she doesn't really know why she said that. But, I mean, in reality, I think we know that she only said it because Nick was kind of gaslighting her into thinking that he didn't do anything wrong. So she had to blame Katie because Nick was like, oh, well, you don't trust me. And she was like, no, it's not you. It's Katie that I don't trust. Which is probably not even true. She just had to say something to get out of the situation, I guess. Anyway, so then Brittany and Leo come out. This is the moment I've been waiting for, and it was kind of underwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. The hosts tell him that, you know, it seemed like he couldn't shut up about his money, and he agrees. But then he also says that his money is low on the list of how he sees himself. Tim chimes in to say that that Leo is just misunderstood, and he has a good heart, which, I mean, coming from Tim, I don't think that means like a whole lot to me. I'm just saying, Tim's not, I mean, you know, he doesn't have the best track record either. Okay, let's see, where am I? I lost my place a little bit. Yeah. Then Leo goes on to say that he was having a hard time deciding between the pasta or the steak, talking about Brittany or Hannah. And he said that in the midst of all this, he forgot that the food actually had feelings. So, obviously, he learned nothing from the show. Like, why would he think that these women wanted to be referred to as pasta and steak? And obviously, when it comes to pasta and steak, you're choosing the steak over the pasta. So, who in his mind was the pasta and who was the steak is what I want to know. And then he goes on to apologize to Hannah for throwing the tantrum, for being delusional enough to think that their breakup was mutual, and also for asking her to put in a good word to Brittany. He says that she didn't deserve that, which is true. But then he goes on to give this really feeble apology to Brittany that didn't seem heartfelt at all. But then they go on to talk to Brittany and they ask her about the reveal. She said she knew how awkward it was while it was happening. And she also says that she wasn't really uncomfortable with him, just the situation and all the cameras and stuff like that. She also says that she knew that they were the weakest link, and she wasn't surprised when they didn't get invited to Cabo. Let's see. She says that they had a great time in Miami and that they're very good friends now. She says that she had some icks when they were traveling together, and that just kind of solidified that they weren't going to be a good couple. Brittany is dating someone now, and Leo is on the market. He is single. Okay, so now we are talking to Steven, and everybody wants to know what's up with the sleep test. Where's the results? Actually, somebody in the audience, I didn't get to see who it was. I looked away for a second, and I heard somebody go, "What was in the texts?" So everybody wants to know what's going on. What were the texts about? What were the DMs about? He says that he would like to respect that individual's privacy, so he wasn't going to divulge too much. And Monica chimes in and says, "Oh, that's so nice that you want to respect their privacy, but you didn't have any respect for me on the show." And period. Monica's always going to say what she had to say, and I appreciate her for that. she does keep cutting him off. At the same time, though, he is just like trying to make excuses and trying to make himself sound better. He mentions how he wrote a letter to her parents apologizing, and she's just like, I knew that you were gonna bring that up. I know that you only wrote that letter so that you could bring it up. And to be honest, like, maybe I believe her, or like maybe it was well intentioned, but yeah, he didn't have to bring that up on the show, especially if it's like he was saying and they had already squashed all the beef. You know, there was no reason to bring it up. He says that no one wants to believe him anyway, and no one cares what he has to say. He knows that he messed up, and she mentions that she didn't see what happened coming because of how he talked about his emotional cheating in the pods and how he was so remorseful for it. Like, she never would have seen this coming for them. And so, yeah, it really caught her off guard, and she did the right thing. He says that he never talked to that woman again, and he regrets it, of course. And then the argument starts to get kind of dumb. It's like, again, just like stupid. He said, she said stuff, and I just kind of tuned it out, I'm gonna be honest. So then we move on to Alex and Tim, and they're making fun of Alex for the whole nap thing, how she took a nap after spending the entire day with his parents. And dude, like, she was just tired. She had a long day, and she even explained at some point in their conversation that she had to work that same night. She had a bartending gig in like 2 hours, and she just wanted to take an hour nap. Like, why is that so bad? She spent like 8 hours with him and his family, and then she decided that she was freaking tired, bro. Like, I don't understand why he's coming for her for that. She says that he didn't give her the space that she wanted or needed. She said wanted, but I mean, you need space. It is what it is. And then he goes on to give this long-winded explanation about how he was so concerned with her, and this is how he treats the people that he loves, and whatever. Like, he really just wanted to know what was going on, and instead of giving her space, he was kind of suffocating her. He didn't admit to that part. He was just kind of defending himself. Apparently, people were on the internet talking about how he checked out of the relationship, and he was just, you know, like, kind of on autopilot. And he was saying that he was actually not checked out. He was just trying to figure out how to make things work. She says that when they had that really bad argument that was never shown, she didn't want the cameras to come around and make him look bad. She was trying to protect his reputation because he was yelling at her. He was belittling her and like putting his finger in her face and stuff, and she called him a B word. Which honestly, it sounds like he kind of was being one, because why are you like wagging your finger and screaming in my face instead of like having a conversation? He said that every day of this process felt like a week, and he also said that the level of respect that he gave wasn't being returned. Yeah, and I just wrote, she said mess, because it was just a lot of back and forth and like talking in circles, and eventually Nick Lachey and his wife just cut them off, and they were like, you know, let's move on. You guys need to talk about this in private, obviously. So then they're just like chatting up with old contestants. Marshall, again, is sitting real close to AD, but this is the point where he does say that he's single, so who knows? And then we're going back to Taylor and Garrett. They compromised on their living situation. During the show, they kept saying that they were going to move to San Diego, and you know, Garrett's parents weren't really like cool with that. They weren't happy about it, and he was a little apprehensive as well. So now they've decided to move to DC instead and just kind of travel in between both of their families. She says that home is with Garrett. As much as she would love to have been around her family, she needs to find her home with him, and you know, they both need to be comfortable. He says that she opened the door for his glow up, which is really cute. And then Christmas traditions. They made ornaments together and they're gonna do it every year, and they just hang out with each other's families, which is really cute, and I love that for them. Very wholesome. They had matching PJs with their dog for Christmas. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. They announced that season 8 is gonna come out in February of 2025. So for Valentine's Day, that should be interesting. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Let me know if you want me to do a part 5 of like where are they now and like what's going on with all the contestants from the show. You know, a year later, I can definitely do that. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. Again, I hope you all have enjoyed my recaps on this show. This was a pretty good season. Excuse me.